Hello students, welcome back to Let Us Master English. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you poem 4 of Flamingo book for class 12 CBSE. Name of the poem is A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. Contents of the video are explanation of each stanza line by line. Then I'll be discussing the new words appearing in each stanza. Various poetic devices appearing in each stanza will be discussed, and also important questions from examination point of view will be discussed. So let's get started. Students, first let us read about the poet John Keats. We need to have information about the poet because in MCQs you might be asked a question based on this introduction. John Keats was born in 1795 and died in 1821. He was a British romantic poet. Although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. हालांकि उन्होंने सर्जन की ट्रेनिंग ली हुई थी, पर फिर वो पूरी तरह से पोइट्री में ही इन्वॉल्व हो गए. Keats' secret, his power to sway and delight the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. The following is an excerpt from his poem, Endymion, a Poetic Romance. So, ये जो पोएम आप पढ़ने जा रहे हैं, थिंग ऑफ ब्यूटी, ये कहाँ से ली गई है? एंडमियन अ पोएटिक रोमांस उनकी लिखी हुई एक पोएम है, उसमें से लिया गया है. The poem is based on a Greek legend. Legend means story, in which Endymion, a young, beautiful shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmus, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess. So he dreamt of Cynthia, and the enchanted youth resolved to seek her out, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea to seek her. Now let us read the first stanza. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a vover quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So students, in first stanza only the poet is discussing about the theme of the poem. The poet says that a beautiful object, that is a thing of beauty, is treasured in our mind forever because it provides us eternal and everlasting joy. This happiness never fades into nothingness, but keeps on multiplying manyfold whenever it flashes on our mind screen. So whenever we see a beautiful thing and whenever we remember it, we become happy. So never pass into nothingness shows that beauty is immortal. It is eternal. It is everlasting. It is never ending. But will keep a vover quiet for us. Vover means a shady place under the tree, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So it provides us a pleasant shelter, a quiet vover for us, and it gives us peace and a sleep full of sweet dreams. And we are bound to the beauties of the earth. So vover quiet, here the poetic device used is metaphor, because the calmness of the vover is compared to the calming effect of a beautiful thing. Now students, let us discuss some questions from this stanza. Whose loveliness will keep on increasing? The loveliness of beautiful things will keep on increasing. Identify the phrase which says that beauty is immortal. So the phrase is, it will never pass into nothingness. What is a vover? Vover means a peaceful place under the shade of trees. Next question. Why do we need sweet dreams, health, and quiet breathing in our lives? These things provide us with constant sources of joy and pleasure. So that's why we need them. Let's move on to the next stanza. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. So the poet says that every morning, the following day, when we go to the nature to pluck flowers, to make a garland of flowers, what are we actually doing? We are binding ourselves to the earth. We are renewing our contact with the earth. Third line, spite of despondence. Despondence means despair, depression, disappointment, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures. Dearth means lack of or scarcity of, किसी चीज की कमी होना. Of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for our searching. Now the poet says that in spite of the disappointment, the despair, the negativity which surrounds us. And why are we sad? Because of inhuman death of noble natures. There is lack of noble souls on this earth. Why? Because people nowadays are becoming selfish, they are becoming greedy, and they adopt many corrupt practices. Of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways means the trials and tribulations one faces in the journey of life, the ups and downs which we face in our life. So, we all are disappointed and sad because there is lack of noble natures. But in spite of all the negativity which is surrounding us, dejection or uncertainty which is surrounding us, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Pall means covering from our dark spirits. Now the poet says that in spite of all this negativity, when we see a beautiful thing, we become happy. A thing of beauty moves away that covering of gloom, sadness from our dark spirits. Now, students, why has the poet said here some shape of beauty? Because beauty is an abstract idea. So that is why beauty in any shape. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady bough. So after this, the poet is giving us some examples of beautiful things. Which are these? The sun, the moon, old and young trees, which produce a shady blessing for us all. Now let us discuss the poetic devices appeared in this stanza. Number one is anaphora, which is the use of same words in two consecutive lines of noble natures of all the unhealthy. So of is repeated here. Poet has also made extensive use of alliteration, and you know, when in one line two or more than two words start with the same consonant, then it is alliteration. Band to bind. So BB is repeated, noble natures. NN is repeated, some shape. SS is repeated, such the sun. Sprouting a shady. So here also SS is repeated. And the poet has also used the poetic device metaphor in wreathing a flowery band. The beautiful things of our life bind us to the earth. And imagery is also there. Imagery means creating a sensory effect of beautiful things lined up in a string. For example, a flowery band to bind us. Trees giving shade, that is sprouting shady boom. So when we read it, we can create a mental picture in our mind about these things. So in this stanza, the poet says that we suffer from malice and disappointment. We lack good human qualities and noble natures. We have some sad days also. And all these things make our life gloomy. We also develop unhealthy and evil ways that cause us suffering and pain. So things of beauty remove the curtain of darkness and gloom from our spirits. All beautiful things of nature are a boon for humanity, like the sun, the moon, old and young trees. These all are sources of happiness. Now, students, let us discuss some questions. Give one cause of human suffering. So, malice born out of disappointment in life is the cause of human suffering. What moves away the pall from our lives? Some object of beauty moves away the gloom from our lives. What does the word gloomy mean? The word gloomy means sad. How does beauty help us when we are burdened with grief? Whenever we look at a beautiful object, we are filled with comfort and joy. When we are burdened with grief, a thing of beauty comes as a ray of hope and makes us forget our sorrow and suffering, at least for some time. Explain some shape of beauty. See, beauty is an abstract idea and has no specific shape. The poet here means beauty in some form or some beautiful object which pleases us. Identify the figure of speech in the above lines. Some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. The figure of speech in these lines are personification and metaphor. Personification because beauty is treated as a human who removes our gloom, our sadness. Why are our spirits referred to as dark? Answer: our spirits are dejected due to extreme sadness and disappointment, which may be the result of our own evil actions. So the poet refers to them as dark because of the hopelessness we feel. Students, let's move on to the next stanza. For simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make, gainst the host season, the mid-forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. So students, continuing the previous stanza, the poet has given example of the sun, the moon, old and young trees which produce a shady blessing for the simple sheep. Simple sheep, here also the poet has used the poetic device alliteration. And then the beauty of the daffodils growing in pastures and meadows, and the clear water of the rivers. Rills means a small stream or a river, give a cooling and pleasant experience in contrast to the warmth and unpleasantness of the hot season. And the mid-forest break, the bushes, they are made rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Those pink colored rose flowers bloom, which make the surrounding rich. So students, old and young trees, they provide a shady shelter which is boon for simple sheep. Here simple sheep refers to human beings too. Daffodil flowers are blooming among the green surroundings. Small streams with transparent water make a cooling shelter of thickets to protect themselves from the hot season. Bushes are growing in the middle of the forest. They have made more beautiful and grand by a sprinkling of blooming musk roses. So students, let us discuss the poetic devices. Poet has used alliteration over here. In simple sheep, SS is repeated, cooling covered, CC is repeated, so it is alliteration, and imagery is also used. That growing process of daffodils with the green world they live in. Clean river streams, that is clear rills, bushes full of musk roses, that is sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. And poet has also used antithesis. It means opposite words placed together. For example, old and young. Now let us discuss some questions. List the things that give us joy. The various objects of nature like the sun, the moon, old and young trees in forest, daffodils and clear water streams give us joy. So here you have to make the list of the things mentioned by the poet. What sprouts a shady boon for sheep and how? Answer. Old and young trees sprout to make a green covering. It proves a blessing for simple sheep as it serves them as a shelter. How do daffodils and rills enrich the environment? Daffodils bloom among the green surroundings. The rills or small streams of water make a cooling shelter for themselves against the hot season. What makes the mid-forest brake rich? The mid-forest brake is made rich by the blooming of beautiful musk roses. Let's move on to the next stanza. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Grandeur means magnificence. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty means enormous or powerful. All lovely tales, tales means stories, that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink, immortal means which never dies, pouring onto us from the heavens brink. Brink means edge. So now in this stanza, the poet tells us that all the stories that we have heard about our powerful ancestors who laid down their lives for the sake of mankind, who made supreme sacrifices of their lives. So the tales of powerful kings and knights who made supreme sacrifices and died noble deaths are like a continuous fountain of immortal drink received from the brink of heaven above. So when we listen to the stories of our mighty ancestors, we feel rejuvenated. Our body, mind, and soul becomes happy. We feel motivated. We are inspired by those stories, and these stories give us refreshing energy. So these beauties of nature are very lovely. The stories which we have heard or read about our mighty ancestors, they fill us with motivation and inspiration. And nature is an endless fountain. It pours into our hearts an immortal drink from the heaven's edge. Now let us discuss the poetic devices. In this stanza too, the poet has made use of alliteration. In have heard, HH is repeated. Metaphor is used in immortal drinks because beautiful objects of nature are forever like a never-ending portion of a drink. And imagery is also used. So sprinkling of grandeur, mighty dead, so books describing valor of fighters, and pouring from the heavens bring means God providing us with best things. Now let us discuss some questions. Name the poem and the poet. So the name of the poem is A Thing of Beauty and the poet is John Keats. Explain the grandeur of the dooms. The grandeur of the dooms means the magnificence that we imagine for our mighty dead forefathers on the doomsday. What is the thing of beauty mentioned in these lines? The thing of beauty mentioned in these lines is the lovely stories celebrating the glory of our powerful ancestors, which we have read or heard about. What image does the poet use in these lines? The poet uses the image of an endless fountain of immortal drink coming down to us from heaven. According to him, nature and other beautiful things around us are like a gift from God, which give us infinite delight and joy. Now, students, many times in your paper you are asked to write the list of things of beauty mentioned in the poem. So here is the list: the sun, the moon, shady trees, young and old trees, beautiful daffodil flowers, streams of water, dense green bushes of forest ferns where fragrant musk roses grow, and tales of heroic men who sacrifice their lives. Now, students, when I taught the previous poem, one of the students commented in the comment section that he wants to know about rhyme scheme. Now, let us see the rhyme scheme of this poem. See, students, for knowing the rhyme scheme, we need to look at the last word of each line. See, last word of first line is forever, so it is A. Second is never. Never rhymes with forever, so again A. Third line, last word is keep, which does not rhyme with forever or never, so it is B. Sleep rhymes with keep, so once again B. And fifth line, last word is breathing, which does not rhyme with any of the above four words, so that is why it is C. So A, B, B, C is the rhyme scheme of this stanza. Now let us discuss the theme of this poem. The theme of the poem, A Thing of Beauty, is a beautiful object is treasured in our mind because it provides us eternal and everlasting joy. This line is very, very important. You can fit this line in many of your answers. What does a beautiful thing do to us? So it provides us eternal and everlasting joy. And this happiness never passes into nothingness, but multiplies manyfold whenever it flashes on our mind screen. So students, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like this video or if you have any suggestions, please write in the comment section. Please share my videos with your friends. Thank you very much.